Hello, this is Dennis McDonald with A1 Telephone Service and Repair, A1 Electronics. You can get us on the web at www.a1-telephone.com. I want to show you today a Snoopy telephone by Western Electric, and the customer's name is Allison. And we're going to show you what Allison wrote here. It says, phone works well except that you cannot make an outgoing call, exactly like the video on YouTube. Something about making a bridge rectifier. My children, 6 and 4 years old, are using the phone to practice phone maneuvers and they love it. Could you please give it an overhaul? And then there's a little more, and so it goes on a little bit. The letter does. But anyway, basically what has happened here is the customer kind of equated the dialing out problem with some of the polarity issues that telephones will have, because this telephone will not break dial tone when you dial. So basically I've already been in this telephone and went through it a little bit, and I want to show you a little bit what's going on here. We want to plug the telephone in here real quick. This is just an initial checkout. Should have dial tone. And what happens here is you'll get your tones, and you can see every time I push the keypad, one of the numbers on the keypad, we don't get any, it never breaks dial tone. And we still have dial tone. And every once in a great while, one of the numbers will hit. And I've already checked the network out here, and it is not a polarity issue. The keypad, I've been into the keypad, and it's actually, let's see if I can get this out of here. You have to loosen a couple of screws up. I've already been into the telephone and checked it out. It is the keypad. The keypad is bad, and basically what we do is we take these keypads out and replace them with keypads that are good or reworked keypads, and that's what's going to have to happen. I don't know that I have enough time to show you on this video to go through and change keypads, because we're going to have to take all these connections that go to the keypad and take them off at the network and then put new ones on. But what we're going to do is replace the keypad, and we have another one sitting right here, and that's what we're going to replace it with. And then we'll go into it and do a final check. It's a very nice Snoopy telephone, a Western Electric. It's an original, and that's always a plus, to have one of the older original Snoopy telephones, or Mickey's, or from the Western Electric series. I think they made a Kermit the Frog, and they made a few other ones too. So anyway, this is the initial checkout of this telephone, and we're going to go ahead and start working on it. And I'm going to have to cut the video off after a bit, because YouTube only lets you have so many minutes on here. So first, what we want to do is get some things out of our way, and we will probably have to cut this video short. Usually from the factory they have a red tie on them here, so that's original, and they usually wrap these wires up pretty good, so we're going to do that. Another thing I want to show you real quick, I want to pick out this yellow wire coming off of the modular plug. I want to take the yellow one, and I want to take the black one, and I want to disconnect them. These are single line phones, and what would happen is this is the second line, and I've had instances where customers have had they have had a second line, and something goes wrong with the phone, and this second line here in the network will tie their phone line up, and there's no reason for this yellow to be connected and the black, because that's for second line. So what we're going to do, so that it does not cause any future problems, we're going to disconnect that and make sure that it's not connected. So we need to pull it out of here. Really, the hardest part about this is just getting the bundle of wires to act the way you want them to act, because everything is wound up inside here in this bundle of wires that they've got going on. So it takes a little bit to find your connections. I'll get down here and get the black one. Get that one out of the way. That's one of the first things that you really want to do with a telephone like this that has a second line on the modular cord. You want to make sure you isolate them, and after you isolate them, you want to make sure that you tape them, and tape them separately, because if they're taped together and the customer has a second line and something goes wrong, that'll actually short the line, see, if the jack is wired for line 1 and 2. So basically you want to tape them separately. We'll get these wound up here. Now get a piece of tape on them. That'll isolate them from the rest of what's going on here. Some guys would cut these, and we have in the past too, but you know, I'm just going to go ahead and tape it up. You could snip it off though, and it wouldn't hurt a thing to snip it off. Okay, so that squares that away. So now you have your modular port, and you got your red and the green. That's your first line. Now what we want to do is we just kind of gently want to undo this wiring harness so that we can see what we're doing, and you can see there's generally about 7 or 8 wires that come off of these keypads. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so you just kind of want to isolate these and kind of get a good look at where they go. And once you do that, you can start disconnecting it. And some guys will write down and make themselves a little diagram. And if you're not familiar with a telephone and how the keypads get wired up to them, that's probably what you want to do at this point. You want to start, because every one of these wires are color-coded, and they're always the same. You'll have your white, your red and green, your red, your orange and black, your white and blue. You'll have a green one, you'll have a black one. So right now is probably the time when you start taking the network apart and undoing these wires from the network to make yourself a little schematic like of or a diagram of where the wires go on the network. The network has letters and numbers on it so that you can like L1, L2, GN, S, C, A, G, C. you know, and so there's letters on there, so you can't get it mixed up. Not every network is the same, but they generally have most of the same connections on them. I want to check our time here real quick, and we're going to have to shut this video down because we're at our allotted time for YouTube. Thank you for watching.